Hello my friends, thank you for joining me at Evolutionary Energy Arts once again. So as we've been talking about, 10,000 ordered to evacuate in Hawaii as Kilauea is spewing fountains of lava 150 feet skyward, releasing deadly gas, and cracks in streets are developing. Over 250 quakes rock the Big Island. So it's really something going on over there. And this is, as we could see, you could see all the earthquakes going on in different locations on the Big Island. And Dutch Sensei was talking about it, and as well as some others, and talking about, I mean, this area just may become kind of uninhabitable. Yet, you know, the positive thing is that it probably is actually forming more island as we are speaking. So in the end, if and when things settle down, there'll be more of Hawaii, yet for a while a lot of this zone will not be inhabitable, and there's definitely a lot of danger right now around that area. And so something to keep your eyes on. We're praying for everyone in Hawaii, and thank you guys so much for your response and all those wonderful prayers and sending all that positive energy. And thank you for your response to the videos yesterday, including the one about needing to basically make an energetic change in the next 3 days. And again, that video is not talking that, you know, you have 3 days and then boom, something big is going to happen. It's just that the message we got was there's a 3-day window to alleviate it, and then once you get past that time frame, it's going to be set in motion. And so it's hard to say exactly when something is going to happen, but it'll be in motion, and it'll be something that will be unavoidable at that point. But we do have a window right now to try to alleviate some of the pressure. So we should be envisioning the planet letting off steam in various locations. And our consciousness is very, very powerful. We are co-creating reality as we go. Every single day we are co-creating reality. And there are dark forces that are trying to program us in a negative light and in a negative pattern and way. And those forces feed off of fear, and they feed off of hatred and jealousy, and they cause egos to be, you know, to swell and to bluster and to cause dissension among us. So we need to be unified and feel as a unified whole. And I see this, you know, beautiful family that we have building here doing that in light and love and coming together. And so we are working to alleviate some of the darkness by sending out those beautiful positive vibrations. And if you know quantum physics at all, I mean, that's what this has discovered, that we do, it's all about the observer. We do create our own reality. So we're sending out those positive intentions towards the earth, gratitude, compassion, not being non-judgmental, and love. So now we have 12 sinkholes appearing in Ocala, Florida, forcing 8 home evacuations as officials grapple with what is causing the problem. And so they just keep getting more and more of them, as we could see. And it's a problem in Florida for sure. And this is sinkholes and water explosions at Four Ranch.
I was here yesterday with my girlfriend. We were drinking coffee, and we see out the back window a large splash. It looked like somebody jumped in the water. So we walked out to see what was going on, and we seen the water bubbling actually. We walked down to the edge for curiosity, and the sand at the very edge of the lake was bubbling as well. It definitely brought great concern. We felt the ground was a little mushy, so we made the very good judgment call, as we can tell now, that to back off the hill, that they could turn into a potential hazard, especially being a lake. That you know, we backed up the hill, went in our house, and within an hour's time, the lake made 5 explosions. I do have one on video, it was wild. It hasn't even been 20 minutes since it happened. And the lake's down probably 3 or 4 feet. Whoa! The one I missed, it was 3 times the size of the one I have on video. We literally watched the lake drain out in the area where it's washed away. It was a big funnel about 1 foot wide. You can even hear the noise of it. It was pretty wild. Don't go in it, little dudes. Don't go in it. Don't go in it.
Yeah, so it's, we know, it's an issue here in Florida, and I know a lot of you are amazed that I'm still here saying, don't you know what's coming? You got to get out. And I have felt like to be out by, I keep seeing the date September 23rd, and I don't know what September 23rd's significance is, but that's in my mind when I'll make sure that I am not in Florida anymore, because that's what I feel that I've gotten. Although now, lately, it feels like maybe I'll have to speed up the plan and head out earlier than instead of later, because it is starting to feel that way for sure. New Brunswick expecting its largest and most impactful flood ever in Canada, and you could see this is very heavy flooding going on the St. John's River, as we said. I mean, there's flooding going on because of all the record snow that we had. And speaking of snow, they got snow in southern Colorado last night again. So it's still, I mean, it's May 4th and the snowpack is increasing. It's pretty wild. This is a disaster waiting to happen. India, as you know, is one of the most populous and a poor nation in the world. And really, so many people in India are just one meal away from starvation. And they've been getting hit with all sorts of horrible freak weather. We've had that dust storm that killed 109 people. In April, they had devastating rains that threatened the rabi crop, caused loss of lives, damage to properties across north and northwest India. February, hailstorms, unseasonable rains, damaged 4.76 lakh hectares of crop. And then lightning killed 14 people. And they've also had a heat wave and a heavy downpour. And actually, the heat wave is intense over there. So I feel so bad for the people of India because they're getting hit very, very hard right now, as are the people in Africa, especially Eastern Africa, as we talked about. And this is talking about avoiding dietary crisis in India, relooking at food supplies, because so many people are truly malnourished there, as is the case also going on in Africa right now. So we need to be mindful of all that and send them love and light and whatever else we could possibly do. And this crisis is really just starting to build now. And here we see flooding, and this is a flooding emergency in Saranac Lake, and this is up in New York State, and experiencing a lot of flooding there as well. And meanwhile, it's snowing like it's still the middle of winter in France. And so, the skiing is great in the Alps. And, I have a friend that is over there now. And, the weather is just, you would think it's January, pretty wild. And, the grand solar minimum is in effect. And this is an article just talking about some of the crops and what's going on, and how we've seen like record prices for wheat and soybeans and things like that. And then how the potential trade war going on and everything is affecting it. But when you look at it, like the USDA has said 17% of the US corn crop have been planted by Sunday, behind the 5-year average of 27%. So that's a big drop. When you're looking at that, that's a huge drop, and that's what we're facing. Things are not getting in the ground, and Australian farmers are planting wheat in some of the driest soils in years, following a severe drought that cut 2017-2018 output in the world's 4th largest wheat exporter to the lowest in a decade. So we're seeing this globally now. French non-EU soft wheat exports revised down, and again, it's all about those crop yields, and people can't get their crops in the ground when you have this record flooding, and then other areas we have record drought going on. This was just an interesting thing about the founding population that crossed into Alaska from Siberia and gave rise to the original Native Americans, according to some line of thought. Consisted of just 250 people before spreading across the continents and growing by the millions. And this is going through DNA sequencing, but there are some DNA genomes in there and some haplogroups that are very curious because they don't follow the norm as well, and could point to the fact that there were survivors that lived somewhere else, perhaps Atlantis or Lemuria, that migrated there during a great cataclysm. And I just found it very, very interesting. And as we look at the way people have built buildings and lived, I was struck by this type of structure, especially after watching a movie that 3 of you guys sent me at the same time, talking about earthing and grounding, and how being in contact with the ground and around the earth could actually have a real healing effect on us, pulling out negative energies and actually causing our body to heal. So there's many things to be aware of in the ages, the age that we're going into. And a structure like this, as long as you're not going to be anywhere around an area that's going to flood, could be a very wise structure, because as we go into the period where a pole shift is getting to be more and more possible, and we're getting exposed to tons more cosmic radiation, UV radiation, something like this would make an awful lot of sense. And so when I find that plot of land that I'm currently looking for, I really want to build an earth bag home and plan on putting it into the earth. And so this is a different take on that, but I just thought this was super cool, and this was sent to me by Evelyn, who is one of our Evolutionary Energy Arts family here. And just a really neat structure that is practical, can be kind of camouflaged, and is into the earth, so you get those healing effects of being in the earth, which is very, very cool as well. And then, if you do have tremendous winds, you're protected, and we probably will. I mean, the storms that are coming, they're going to be super intense. And if you have tornadoes and things, you're going to be much more protected in something like this. So, just a very, very cool idea I wanted to share with you guys. And this is basically showing the zones where you're actually allowed to go off grid. And so, like, a couple of the key components are, where can I be off grid legally? Where can I, if I want to do it, have a earth bag home or a tiny home, something along those lines? And so you want to look for the green zones, and you got to try to find them, and there's not a lot of them out there. So, and then where is a safe zone? Because we know that, say, California over here ain't going to be safe. That's not likely. Parts of Arizona will probably be safe, probably the more easternmost areas. So many people are putting tiny homes and things like that, going off grid in that zone. Take into consideration, things are going to be cooler, there's going to be new weather patterns that develop, and take into consideration all those nuclear plants that we've talked about. So there's a lot of things to think about. So the reason why now I've zoned in completely, I was going back and forth between Appalachia over here, specifically anywhere from basically this corner of North Carolina up to the Asheville area, all the way up to Boone, but probably not quite as far as Boone because of the temps and all, and also just steering clear of Virginia and all. But now I've zoned in, and I'm sure that where I'm heading to is going to be New Mexico. So for me, that seems like the most logical area to be in. It's very stable geologically, and it should be benefiting from increased water and rain as we get deeper into this grand solar minimum as well. And as you can see, there's a lot of area where you could be off grid, and you just have to find an area where you could have the type of zoning that you want to put your tiny home or your earth bag home or whatever it is you want to do. You'd be able to do it. So I just wanted to share that map with you guys. And this is the last thing I'm going to touch on, and this is interesting. So the night sky, May 2018, a shadow showstopper as Jupiter reaches opposition. So Venus is a brilliant beacon visible low above the west-northwest horizon after sunset. The planet presents an 88% lit gibbous disk when viewed through a telescope at the start of May, reducing to 80% by the end of the month. However, it's Jupiter which steals the show as it reaches opposition on May 9th. Opposition is the term used to describe when a planet is on the opposite side of the sky related to the Sun. In this position, the distance between the planet and Earth is minimized for the current period of observation, and the planet appears brighter and larger through a telescope than at other times. And the reason why I bring this up is because of when we were doing the channeling yesterday with Asia, they kept bringing up Jupiter, and Jupiter's impact is really important. And there was a lot of different things that came up, and possibly being relative to the major Earth change that we're talking about, that thing that's coming, possibly being related to even President Trump or something happening politically as well. There's unresolved karmic relations that have popped up as part of what we got out of it, and a lot of really interesting stuff relating to the Sumerians and the whole Nibiru Planet X thing that we will get into in a lot greater detail. So I just wanted to get out there to you guys that for some reason this is key. And so this is May 9th that basically Jupiter is in opposition. So that is a key day to watch, and the days right before and after that. So just something I wanted you guys to be aware of for whatever reason. You know, it's just a message. So I wanted to share that with you, my friends. So as always, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Click the bell so you get all the updates. Share with as many people as possible, and thank you for sharing. We've got to get the word out. We have to wake people up. Wake them up as much as we can so that they can prepare and be mindful and not walking around like sheeple or zombies. And as always, thumbs up to help support the channel. Please thumbs up to support us and to show the world that we are unified and that we are going to effect positive change, and we're not going to accept the negativity and the division that they've tried to control us with. So my friends, as always, I send you my love, my light, and I thank you for the blessings that you're sending back. Namaste and peace. God bless, my friends.